So just 2 weeks ago, Merab Dvalishvili defeated Corey Sandhagen at UFC 320 in the co-main of Pereira versus Ankalaev 2 and beat him through 5 rounds. And just a few days later, it gets announced he'll be fighting Petr Yan at UFC 323 in December. This is crazy. This is crazy. If Merab beats Petr Yan in this fight, I think he's the number one pound for pound of all time. We're currently right now. And people can have their opinion saying, "Oh yeah, but if Islam Makhachev beats JDM and wins the second belt, you know," in my opinion, I think Merab should be pound for pound number one, and I'm going to explain why. First off, Merab Dvalishvili, his contender run. Oh my God, his contender run is a title run itself. His contender run is a title run itself. Hear these names. He beat Jose Aldo, Petr Yan, and Henry Cejudo in a row, just to sniff a title shot, to get his title shot against Sean O'Malley. Jose Aldo, two-time featherweight champion. Petr Yan, former bantamweight champion. Henry Cejudo, former flyweight and bantamweight champion. He needed to beat 3 of those guys to get a title shot against Sean O'Malley. And come on. Most fighters, their contender runs usually, like, for example, Ilia Topuria, his contender runs Bryce Mitchell and Josh Emmett. Islam Makhachev's Thiago Moises, Dan Hooker, Bobby Green. Merab's names were Petr Yan, Jose Aldo, and Henry Cejudo. That is usually names, like, some champs can't even, like, meet the names of those, like, meet those types of names when they're even defending their belts. Merab did this as a contender. And it's crazy. It's actually insane. And then, but yeah, that is absolutely crazy. And you know what? Some people will say, "Oh yeah, but Islam Makhachev, 15 wins in a row. If he beats JDM, wins the second belt." Islam Makhachev is great. His resume is good. I don't think it's better than Merab's though. I don't think Islam Makhachev's resume compares to Merab, and I'm going to explain why. Let's compare contenders. Like I said, Merab had Jose Aldo, Cejudo, Petr Yan. Islam Makhachev's contenders consisted of Arman Tsarukyan when he was, debut, his first fight that's still at that win waged very well. Thiago Moises, Dan Hooker, Bobby Green. That's Islam Makhachev's contender run. Hey, those are still decent wins. I'm not taking that away from him. But when you compare that to Merab, a Bobby Green win doesn't come close to a Henry Cejudo win. A Dan Hooker win is very good. He's in the top 5 of the lightweight division. That doesn't compare to a Petr Yan win. A Thiago Moises win does not compare to a Jose Aldo win. And even we can get to let's say, the title runs of these guys. Islam Makhachev beat Charles Oliveira to win the belt. That is a great win to have. Beat him in dominant fashion too, submitted him in round 2. He defeated Alexander Volkanovski in a very close fight, though. Very close fight. Volkanovski coming up from featherweight, again from the win over Max Holloway for the 3rd time. Close fight. Islam Makhachev won. And yeah, some people think Volkanovski won. It was a very close fight, in my opinion. Then was supposed to fight Charles Oliveira. Pulled out. Volkanovski stepped in on, I think, 2 weeks' notice. I'm not going to take the win away from Islam Makhachev. He came in and stepped in, Volkanovski, and he accepted the fight. So a win is a win. But that Volkanovski win, you can just tell it wasn't good. Wasn't a good Volkanovski. He was clearly out of shape. 2 weeks notice. You can just tell that wasn't like peak Volkanovski. Not like the one where not like the first fight one. And that win, and then we got Dustin Poirier in June of 2024. He submits Dustin Poirier round 5. Great win. That's another good win from Islam Makhachev. He was supposed to fight Arman Tsarukyan for the second time, I think, at UFC 311. Arman pulled out the last day due to an injury or, I think, weight miss, whatever it was. And then He fought Renato Moicano on 1 day's notice and submitted him in round 1. That is a good title run from Islam Makhachev. But Merab's names consist of beating Sean O'Malley to win the belt dominantly. Sean O'Malley's a great win. Dominantly beat him. Came back in a few months, I think January. Same card as Islam. Beat Umar Nurmagomedov. Took his undefeated record. People thought Merab was going to lose that fight. Proved everyone wrong. I thought he was going to lose too. Then he beat Sean O'Malley again by submission. Then he came back a few months later, just 2 weeks ago, fought Corey Sandhagen. And then he's going to rematch Petr Yan again. I think he will beat Petr Yan once again. That resume, I think, solos Islam Makhachev's resume. I really do. I really do. I think, because first off, I know people don't like this excuse how, he fights only featherweights and all that stuff. Yeah, 2 of those wins were featherweight wins. Volkanovski coming up from featherweight. That's why I don't really count it as highly, as better as Merab's, because Volkanovski was a featherweight and he's coming up to lightweight facing Islam. The only real like lightweight contender he defended against was Dustin Poirier, like top 5 contender. He beat Charles to win the belt, but like defense wise, he only really had Dustin Poirier as like a really good win. Renato Moicano was taking his fight on short notice. He was literally number 10 in the division. And yeah, and then other than that, the Volk wins though, still good wins, but he was a weight class below. When you compare that to Merab's resume, Merab is fighting everyone in his title run. He's fighting everyone in his division, high level. And he's doing it in an activity that's insane, and he's gaining finishing ability now. Merab Dvalishvili, I used to think, when he just beat Jose Aldo and coming into the first Yan fight, I was like, oh no, Merab, oh no, he's gonna be fighting now. Oh. But no, now when I see his name get announced, I get excited, and I gotta give him the respect he deserves. He's fighting these killers, championship fights, by the way, and like an incredible activity. You gotta give it to him. Merab Dvalishvili I think has the best resume in UFC history. He's already the bantamweight GOAT. But yeah, in the way, and he promised to KO Sandhagen, he couldn't do that, but he's still trying to like fulfill his promise. You can tell Merab has I think Merab actually might get a KO in one of his fights soon. That the hands he was putting on Sandhagen, almost TKOing him, was crazy. And then he submitted Sean O'Malley. But yeah, his wins, I think, are so much better than Islam Makhachev's wins. Because, like I said, Makhachev only defended against one real lightweight contender, and that was Dustin Poirier. Unlike, using ruling the real lightweight, really high level lightweight contender he faced, top 5. And yeah, he went to and the thing is, Makhachev also goes to war with these guys. You could see him coming out like it's a war. Cuts all over his face. Merab just goes in against these contenders, and he's just 5 rounds, by the way. Petr Yan, he had no mark on his face, just like that. Jose Aldo, no mark in his face, just beats him. Henry Cejudo, I don't think he even had a mark in his face either, just beat him. Sean O'Malley, no marks, and even both the fights. I don't remember. I don't remember the second fight he got cut or something. I don't remember. But yeah, Merab's just coming into these big fights, and he doesn't look like he's getting affected by them at all. And against these high-level opponents, and he just keeps coming back for more. He just keeps wanting to be active, and I think he will beat Anderson Silva's win streak. And I don't think anyone in the bantamweight division is going to beat him. If he's just going through these guys like it's nothing and no scratch, and he's able to turn around this quick, and fight Petr Yan this quick and have 4 title defenses in 1 year, no one's beating him. Taking no damage from these guys. And a contender doesn't have this type of activity. Some contenders are fighting like once every 2 years. Arman Tsarukyan. Yeah, okay, Arman Tsarukyan's finally fighting Dan Hooker in November, but still. Petr Yan is Merab Dvalishvili. And I think one of the most toughest divisions of the sport right now in the UFC. He's making it look easy. And he's fighting in this act. I don't think anyone's going to beat him. And yeah, I think Merab Dvalishvili should be pound for pound number 1 after beating Petr Yan. I think him being pound for pound after beating Sandhagen, maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but I wouldn't complain. This guy is a beast. He's getting more exciting every time he fights, and I've finally come to love Merab a lot. And yeah. Anyways, guys, this is the end of my video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye.